Today it is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, in one of the cities in Los Angeles. Well, actually, Covina. It's about 9 p.m. at night. This is the second time I'm recording for the day because the first one I sounded very angry and rushed, so I didn't want to use that one. I want to talk about what it means to win. I think winning is a very funny thing. It's kind of like the song ABBA had. The winner takes it all. But what I mean by that is it's more nuanced. The sentiment of the song, when you hear it, even though the title says the winner takes it all, it talks about neither you nor I am to blame. And I guess as long as something is a blame game, nobody is winning. Just like they say, we're only as strong as the weakest link. And it's almost like the fact that we call somebody the weakest link, that concept, that idea itself is very weak. What was the person measured by when they were told that they're weak? That they have no arm strength? That's why they're weak? And that person is the very person who lifted you up emotionally when you were down on the ground, spiritually and possibly physically. Or the person who has, let's say, somebody said, we calculated his IQ and his IQ was the lowest. So that person's the weakest? And he continues to smile at everybody wholeheartedly. And you realize one of the days nobody ever smiled at you. He genuinely smiles. And a tear almost falls down your cheeks. That's the weakest person? Or the person who's always angry. And everybody says, well, that person is definitely not a good asset. Not even an asset, maybe, possibly. And you realize that person has been writing these poems in his book every single day until he passed. That person's the weakest? On what basis would you want to be the winner? On what basis would you want to consider you having won over these people because they were weaker than you? In what type of world would you want to call yourself the triumphant champion or the winner, when there are people who suffer the losses of being called much weaker than you, but they're the very people that when you lose yourself, that they will scoop you up with no trouble, because they've always been that way, been smiling at people, been writing one poem at least every single day, been telling stories every single day, or noticing certain things that nobody else would notice, and just saying thank you in their hearts. If you took all of these away, all of these incidents that these types of people, so-called weakest links, make happen in the world, then you would truly have a world with no asset. On what basis would we like to keep continuing calling others weaker than us? And in what type of world will we consider ourselves truly the winners? That it was worth pushing over other people. On what basis will we have felt a peace in our mind and our hearts and in our souls because we said we have truly won the fight? I wonder because I think people win too easily sometimes. It's about the strength. It's about the endurance. It's about the patience. What about the nuances? All those moments when you can't even explain to anybody else, even to yourselves, even to myself, and somebody does something really small and really subtle, and it hits you and you go, wow. Now that makes me think of all the wrongs that I've done. And that person kind of just made it seem like, it's okay. I mean, why would I blame you? Things are much more nuanced. They should be. Things aren't supposed to be taken away just because somebody fathomized a concept and manifested into ideas. And then you put people on the measuring boards and say, these people are weak, these people are doing okay, these people are the best, these are the strongest. And then you wonder, is it always worth it? Or is it ever worth it? These measuring boards, like somebody's lower than you, and you get a really good hike out of it. You get a really good hit out of it. Oh yeah, these people are lower than me. That's why I got a good hit today. And it just makes you feel that much shallower, that much lonelier, that much more complex in the worst ways. I'm just suggesting that sometimes it's really good to have those nuances of people who some people might say, oh, they don't look that great. They're not even physically fit. They're not the strongest. They're not strongest minded. It's not like they have the best jobs. And their personality is not like shining or glowing or cheerful all the time. What's good about them? And then you look at one of their small pieces of crafts that they did of a really small rabbit or a small bear or a small cat or a small dog, and then it hits you. The facial expressions of those animals hit you. You go, that is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Would you want to lose those moments because you were putting everybody on measuring boards and saying that you only interact with the better people? Is that the world you want to really create? Would it have been worth it to have stayed in that world? My question today is, what would you say makes it really worth it to have lived in a specific world? And would it be all about winning? Because it definitely won't be. It is 9:28 p.m. I've talked for about 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I choked in between when I was talking about measuring boards. I hope you guys have a good day and talk with you soon.